My first week in Thailand was spent at Elephant Nature Park, which is an elephant sanctuary. The purpose of the sanctuary is to rescue elephants and other animals from abuse and provide a place for them to live as safely and naturally as possible for the rest of their lives. Lek is the owner of the sanctuary, and I highly recommend watching the documentary called Love and Bananas, which is all about her story and how she rescues the elephants. And we actually got to meet her at the sanctuary, and she comes from a family that had a trekking business, and in trekking they abuse and beat elephants until they fear humans so much that they listen to their commands, and they use these elephants to make a profit. And tourists will pay money to ride on the elephants because they don't know the abuse that goes into this, but the abuse and training and having a heavy bench of people and having to give people rides on this bench all day, every day really damages the elephants. So Lek is just an inspiration because she chose to help elephants instead of hurt them, even though that went against her family. And many of the animals here do have injuries since they were rescued from abuse. So it was just awesome to see how the vets and volunteers care for these animals and make sure that they're happy and healthy and treat their injuries. So I was just happy that we could volunteer here, learn as much as possible, and help in any way that we can. And at the sanctuary, you don't ride on elephants, you don't do anything that hurts them or bothers them. You can go close to them and feed them and pet them, but we're basically here to help them live happy, healthy lives, which I think is amazing. So if you go to Thailand, I highly recommend visiting a sanctuary rather than doing circuses or trekking or anything that injures them. We spent a day studying Pikun's diet. She is a 50-year-old elephant that was rescued from trekking, and it was amazing to spend an entire day with one elephant because we really learned her personality. Her friend, you can see this lump on her side, Kunyai, she's 70 years old, and she has this compressed rib injury from trekking and having that heavy bench crush her ribs. But you can see here with their friend Famai, they're just all living happy lives. You can tell by their ears moving and their tails like slightly wagging and their trunks going up are all signs that they are happy and doing well here. Here Pikun is cleaning off her grass, cleaning the dirt before she eats it. And she also several times throughout the day used a stick to scratch her itch, which just shows how intelligent elephants really are. And they don't really lay down ever when they're tired. They just rest their trunk and close their eyes, which was really cute to see. And Pikun and Kunyai, even though they're older elephants, they got to be social and keep up with all the young baby elephants. You can see one here playfully chasing a dog, and it was just really awesome to see them all having such a fun time in the river. This elephant's walking a little bit funny because she has a broken hip injury, but you can also tell how happy she is, and she doesn't let that stop her from playing with the other elephants. Here you can see them having a fun time rolling in the mud. They just do it because it's fun, but it does really help them prevent their skin from sun damage since they're outside all day, and it helps keep the bugs from biting their skin. This elephant stepped on a snare trap, which is why her foot is wrapped up, but she's still walking along happily. And it was also incredible getting to feed them. This elephant just wants any food she can get her hand on. And this elephant is more picky, so you have to peel the bananas and make sure they're perfectly ripe. It's just interesting to see all their different personalities and get to know them more and how intelligent they really are. This elephant, you can see, has an eye infection, so the veterinarian treats that several times per day. We also spent the day visiting a local school. The kids were all really nice and friendly despite the language barrier, and we went for their recess. And you could see some kids dancing. They were also selling some snacks and drinks that they made. And you could see them in class singing and just learning and having fun.
Good job!
My favorite part was when we got to work with the elephant vet. He also treats the horses, cows, water buffalo, and other large animals there. So we got to spend some time with horses, and then we actually got to wash out this wound that this elephant has from stepping on a landmine before she was rescued. But she's still a happy elephant, and it was just unreal to be that close with her to where I was actually washing out the wound in her foot and seeing it. It was just unreal to be that close to the elephant, and even to help her for just one day was an amazing experience. And being at Elephant Nature Park, I got to work with the elephant vet, the dog vet, and the cat vet, and we even had hands-on experience with horses. So just working with such a wide range of animals in one place and getting real veterinary experience, it was my first time administering subcutaneous fluids to a cat with chronic kidney disease. And I just was so happy to be able to learn here and help out as much as I could with volunteering, and just waking up every single day and seeing all of these animals right outside and being so close with these elephants where you can pet them and feed them and really get to know a lot of their names and their personalities. And I just loved being there, and I will never forget this trip. My second week in Thailand was spent at Animal Rescue Kingdom, and at this shelter they have a small animal clinic where we went to have lectures, lab, and hands-on practice with animals in the mornings, and then explored downtown Chiang Mai in the evenings. And I did love being here because I want to be a small animal veterinarian, so it is learning stuff that I actually will be doing in my future career. At night, we went to the night markets a few times, which are pretty famous in Chiang Mai. I highly recommend going. We got amazing rolled ice cream a few times, and we had incredible massages here as well, and everything's fairly inexpensive, and you can even bargain for a lower price. So we got souvenirs for our friends and family. We bought a bunch of clothes, jewelry, little souvenirs, and they also have really cool artwork. A lot of people will paint and make these jewelry and shirts and then sell them here, and it's just really cool to see so much talent and effort that people put into what they're selling. So at the animal clinic, we did have some lectures and labs, but then the things that we got to do hands-on with the animals included physical exams, blood draws, injections, and catheter placement, which you can see here, but not on a real dog. This was before the real animals, which is practicing with colored water. And then we got to practice blood smears with real blood that we got from our blood draws, and then you spread it on the slide, and then we got to analyze it under a microscope. And it's just gaining these skills are super important for my future career. We got to work on the anesthesia team and practice monitoring that. We even got to scrub in on spay and neuter surgeries a few times. Back here is the pulmonary vein. This is a clot. I'm live streaming. Are you really live streaming? No. And this is the left pulmonary artery, but it's kind of cut into, but it's there.
This is my birthday present.
Happy birthday!
Today we sliced the testicles.
We sliced them
off.
No more.
We popped the testicle out of the sack and sliced it off.
There's just an empty sack left, so beware. We took a razor blade and just
Sliced it right off.
Here's your warning.
If any man tries to fuck with anyone, any of us,
you're done.
We can castrate you.
That's it, you're done. This temple that we visited was breathtaking. It's so beautiful, and when we went here, we had a lesson on meditation with a monk. He taught us that Buddhism is technically not a religion, it's a philosophy because Buddha wasn't a god. And he taught us that monks train their moral, mental, and wisdom, and that they focus on eliminating suffering and achieving enlightenment and just living simply and living a happy life. It's also so hot in Thailand that our hotel had a pool when we were staying in downtown Chiang Mai, so we spent a lot of time in the pool. Even though it was cloudy some days, it was still really hot out, so it was so much fun. We got to go zip lining one day at Dragon Flight, and you did have a choice. If you didn't want to do zip lining, you could do a cooking class instead, but this was a zip line course that took about 2 to 3 hours, and they have a bunch of connecting zip line courses, so there was some hiking involved between some of the different zip lines, but they were just a bunch of short zip lines through this jungle, and I had a great time. Beautiful.